Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the July 2022 SBIF Rollout. We will get started in just a moment. Today, we'll be going through a presentation about the SBIF program, how to apply, and have an opportunity for Q&A. If you do have a question, please use the Q&A box on the bottom of your screen, and we will be answering those questions at the end. Additionally, everybody attending today will be receiving an email that includes a copy of this presentation and a link to the video if you'd like to rewatch. We'll get started in just 1 minute. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Kim Brisky with Summer Core. We are the administrator of the SBIF program, and we're really happy to have you here today. As I mentioned, this is the July 2022 SBIF District Rollout webinar. We will have the opportunity to answer questions, so please, if you have any, submit them through the Q&A box in the chat. Everybody here today will receive an email with a copy of the presentation afterwards. And with that, I think I'd like to turn it over to Nora Curry at the Department of Planning and Development to get us started. Thanks, Nora.
Okay. Hi, everybody, and thanks again for joining us today. As Kimberly said, I'm Nora Curry. I'm the SBIF Program Director for the Department of Planning and Development at the City of Chicago. SBIF is in the Division of Small Business Advocacy here at the department. We also have the Special Services Program, the TIF Works Program, and several other special projects within the department in the economic development side of things here. And joining me from my division is Ligia Ibarraz, and she'll be helping with answering questions as well. So Summer Core is going to be handling the bulk of the presentation. They're contracted by DPD to administer the SBIF program, and they will be helping you today and throughout your application process. The Small Business Improvement Fund is known as the SBIF program, and it provides grants to small businesses and property owners to make needed improvements to their property. At the beginning of 2021, we implemented a bunch of exciting new enhancements to the program, including a robust 3-year funding plan. And that was the largest in our 20-year history of the program of $60 million and 60 TIFs, and it's gone extremely well, so well, in fact, that we're going back to City Council to request additional funding of about $40 million in about 45 TIFs. So it's been really popular. That's partially because we've done so much new marketing to all of you, including these monthly webinars, additional Spanish language materials, and a lot more marketing. So we want to thank, because there are probably some delegate agencies here. And we're just glad that you're here to hear about the program. And so with that, I'm going to move along to Sylvia, who will outline the enhancements and everything else to know about the program. And on to Sylvia Roscoe.
Thank you very much, Nora. Again, as she mentioned, my name is Silvia Roscoe. I am the director of the Small Business Improvement Fund program. I've worked with Summer Core for nearly 17 years in assisting hundreds of existing businesses, landlords, and also startups. Summer Core is a not-for-profit SBA lender. We administer the SBIF program, as well as the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund program. Now in its 22nd year, the SBIF program is now one of the longest running and most successful City of Chicago grant programs. We've dispersed over $105 million to over 1,400 businesses. So please be advised that this is a non-residential program. The grant cannot be used for operating costs. It cannot be used for capital. It is only strictly available for permanent renovations to infrastructure repairs of the property itself. So we'll go ahead and get started with today's presentation. Thank you once again for spending time with us today. We'll go ahead and get started. What is SBIF? We will go over the program mission and the grant parameters. Getting started, is your business or property in a SBIF district? which SBIF districts are open or on deck, what are the SBIF program rules, how do you apply, and what is the program timeline? What resources are available to help? These are some of the things that we'll go over today. We have a calendar of the July 2022 rollout information as well as sample projects. We'll have SBIF facts available as well as additional question and answer session towards the end. Launched in 1999, the City of Chicago's Small Business Improvement Fund promotes economic development by providing small businesses and landlords with reimbursable grants for permanent building improvement costs. Residential projects are not eligible. SBIF grant uses local tax increment financing revenue to reimburse grantees for the pre-approved repair or rehab of their business facilities or adjacent land acquisition. Summer Corps is a program administrator contracted by the Chicago Department of Planning and Development. Eligible applicants. Properties must be in a TIF district where SBIF funds are available and the SBIF is authorized to accept applications. Landlords of commercial or industrial properties are eligible. Business owners of commercial or industrial who own or lease their places of business. Tenants with prior written approval from property owner, as well as startups may apply with a business plan. A current Chicago business license is required prior to final disbursement of funds. Here we have the eligibility limits. So for commercial tenants or owner occupied, on average can have up to $9 million or less in gross sales per year. For landlord of commercial or industrial businesses, the cap is $9 million or less in cumulative net worth and $500,000 in liquid assets max per the individual. For industrial tenants or owner-occupied industrial businesses, they must have 200 or fewer full-time employees. All owner-occupied properties are subject to both tenant and landlord requirements. What is the maximum grant amount allowed under SBIF? $250,000 is the maximum per an industrial property. $150,000 is the maximum for a single owner or tenant of a commercial property or landlord. $250,000 is the maximum that may be granted per multiple owner or tenant of a commercial property, with $75,000 being the maximum assistance per the tenant or the landlord. Applicants may receive one or more grants up to their maximum program assistance. Once this maximum is reached, the applicants will need to wait 3 years to reapply. What is the percentage of eligible project costs that can be reimbursed? For commercial applicants, if your sales or net worth fall between $0 to $3 million, you'd qualify for 90% of eligible cost of reimbursements. If your sales or net worth fall between $3 to $6 million, you qualify for 60% of eligible costs of reimbursements. If your sales or net worth fall between $6 to $9 million, you qualify for 30% of eligible cost. All industrial projects qualify for 50% of eligible cost. Here we have an example of a grant calculation. So let's say that Grace submits an application for a SBIF grant in an open district with a total eligible project cost of $100,000. She's proposing to make building improvements to her existing retail shop for which she is a tenant. Grace has been in business for 5 years. Over the last 3 years, her gross sales averaged $1.5 million. Here we have a breakdown of her eligible costs. So if her eligible costs are at $100,000 as a commercial tenant applicant, her gross sales are under $3 million, which means she qualifies for 90% grant reimbursements. The city's responsibility is at 90% for $90,000, and the applicant's responsibility is at 10% at $10,000. Is your business or property in a SBIF district? In order to determine whether or not your property qualifies for the program, you can visit our website at summercore.com/SBIF to see if your property is in a SBIF district. This is what the page looks like once you get there. You would then click on number 1 to confirm your business is in a SBIF district. That will then take you to this screen here to the local SBIF Locator tool. You can enter your address and click the search button. That will automatically give you information that pertains to that specific property. So if you're located within a TIF district, it'll give you the TIF district's name as well as the information as to when the district is set to open and also delegate agency contact information. Which districts are open or on deck? Eligible SBIF districts in Chicago span neighborhoods on the north, south, and west sides. Each month marks a new 30-day period in which SBIF districts with available funds are open for applications. Notice of district openings are provided to relevant aldermen, posted on DPD and SummerCore websites, and included in the SBIF grant. And you can visit the websites for the most up-to-date list of open and on-deck districts. What are the SBIF program rules? What businesses and organization types are ineligible to apply? Some of the businesses that do not qualify for SBIF include chain and franchise businesses, places of worship, tobacco dealers, cigar lounges, liquor stores, nightclubs, adult uses. Again, this list is not comprehensive, but these are some of the business types that do not qualify for SBIF. What improvement costs are eligible for SBIF funding? We cover roofing and facade, components of signs or awnings which are permanently affixed to the building, any alterations or structures that are needed for ADA compliance, such as any railings, ramps, ADA compliance restrooms, HVAC and other mechanical systems, plumbing and electrical work, certain project-related architectural and construction costs, management fees that are related to the project can also be reimbursed. Certain environmental remediation measures can be covered, permanent interior renovations, including fixtures, and the purchase of adjacent land parcels for purpose of expansion or parking only. Again, this list is not comprehensive. There may be other items that are not listed here that we may be able to cover. What improvement costs are ineligible for SBIF funding? We do not cover any new construction, whether it's an addition or expansion, even from the ground up, any standalone minor repairs or cosmetic improvements, equipment-related expenses such as kitchen appliances, computers, or furniture, things that are easily accessible where you can easily take things out of the building. We cannot cover those items. Planters that are surrounded or affixed to the building, any outdoor dining or drinking areas, including roof decks, beer gardens, outdoor patios, balconies, awnings, porches, and decks. Fencing, including any pergolas, privacy screens, things that are similar to those items, any parking lot construction or repairs, landscaping, and interior residential units are not eligible for SBIF funding. What are these SBIF design requirements? In order to receive funding, the projects must conform to design requirements, including meeting DPD's design guidelines. Projects shall also comply with design guidelines and additional neighborhood requirements as described in the guidelines, style guides, community plans, and other planning documents associated with the TIF area and neighborhood in which the property is located. Applicants are strongly encouraged to consult with SummerCore and design professionals on design requirements and guidelines before drawing up plans for work. All applicants for commercial properties who are approved for a grant of $25,000 or greater shall be required to make at least one exterior improvement using at least 10% of the maximum amount of their approved grants, including but not limited to facade repair, windows and doors, and other exterior improvements eligible subject to DPD's approval. This requirement can be waived at DPD's sole discretion if the applicant can demonstrate to DPD's satisfaction that no exterior improvements are needed because the improvements have been recently completed or the exterior features of the building have been well maintained and are consistent with DPD's guidelines. What measures are in place to ensure applicant compliance with program rules? Checks will be performed on all applicants prior to funding to ensure that they are not indebted to the city, are current on property taxes, and are complying with child support laws. Each applicant will sign an economic disclosure affidavit. Grantees will be required to sign an affidavit certifying that they will not relocate out of the TIF district or sell the property within a 3-year period following disbursement of funds. In cases of SBIF reimbursement for land purchase, the proof of land ownership will be required before the reimbursement may be made. How do I apply? You can download a copy of the SBIF application from our website, summercorps.com/SBIF. To apply, please complete the application and email it to our general inbox at spiff@summercorps.com within the designated open period. What is the SBIF program timeline? So for stage 1, the applicants supply any missing information to complete their application. They are granted up to 20 days to submit these items. For stage 2, this is a planning phase where we obtain plans, bids, and specifications, and all debts must be cured. There is a 120-day timeline granted for the planning phase. Please note that stage 1 and 2 must be completed before final review and project approval by DPD. If approved, you will receive your conditional commitment letter signaling that you are able to begin construction. In stage 3, the project construction, you're granted up to 10 months. Proof of permit or permit application is concurrent with the 10-month construction phase. Must be submitted within 120 days following the date of the commitment of the letter. This includes the permit or permit application. Stage 3.4, the applicant then provides the proof of sufficient funds to complete the project. Again, this is concurrent with the 10-month construction phase. You'd have 120 days following the date of approval, where you must submit proof that you have sufficient equity to complete the project. At least 50% of the funds is needed to cover the total cost of the project. Stage 4 is the reimbursement processing stage. Once the project is complete and all necessary items are submitted, the processing usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks before you receive your reimbursement. Unless DPD has granted an extension of time, applicants who do not complete each stage within the required phase time limit will be disqualified. A maximum of 2 extensions may be granted with DPD's approval in the case of unavoidable delay due to extraordinary circumstances. DPD, not Summer Corps, may also on a case-by-case basis grant a grant-eligible application an additional amount of time to complete any program requirements. In such case, DPD shall have discretion to determine the appropriate length of the extension. What is required to deem a project completed and receive grant funds? Required proof of payment documentation is sent to Summer Corps for review. This will include a copy of a sworn statement, invoices, canceled checks, and final waivers of lien. Summer Corps will then complete a final site visit to verify that the work has been completed, and the applicant will be required to submit a copy of the building permits for the approved work. Again, within 4 to 6 weeks, the grant payment may be received by check. What resources are available to help? You can visit our website again to access resources to support your SBIF project. We have a list of lenders that are familiar with the SBIF process. They are more inclined to lend funds knowing that you're participating in the SBIF program. We can also sign a bank assignment where the proceeds of the grant go directly to the lender to pay off a portion of the loan. We also have a list of SBIF contractors that some of our applicants, our previous recipients have used in the past. We also have a list of technical assistance providers, as well as various other small business resources. And just note that Summer Corps will be your #1 resource in trying to get to the finish line with your projects. Get to know your local delegate agency. These organizations are assigned to assist small business owners in the SBIF districts that are opening in July. So here we have 2 Western delegate agencies, as well as the Western Ogden TIF district, their delegate agency in that area as well. Woodlawn TIF district, here's a list of their delegate agencies. So please reach out to these agencies. They are designed to assist you. They are local to your area. They can assist with the application process and also be a guide throughout the entire construction phase. July 2022's open district. We're currently accepting applications through August 1st at 5 p.m. In order for us to consider an application, it must be submitted before the deadline of August 1st at 5 p.m. We're currently accepting applications for 2 Western, Western Ogden, and Woodlawn. You can submit your application via email to sbif@summercorps.com. Please allow 2 business days for Summer Corps to confirm receipt of your application via an email response. If you do not receive an email confirmation within this time, please send a follow-up message or call our main line at 312-360-3300. Applicants are responsible for making sure submissions are received within the open acceptance period. Here we have a sample project to highlight. So we have Amazing Edibles Catering. This project's located in the Western Ogden TIF District at 4919 West 14th Street. Here she says that she's grateful to the City of Chicago and Summer Corps for the amazing SBIF program, which allowed us to stretch our dollars to make needed infrastructure improvements. With these funds, we were able to expand our capacity at a critical time in our company's growth, creating offices for more staff and cooler space to take longer or larger orders. These changes became even more important in the pandemic as we had more space to socially distance our team in the office safely, and we switched to family home meal delivery service. We had the space to store the meals safely until delivery time. This is a quote from owner Andrea Herrera of Amazing Edibles Catering. And here we have a few pictures of Miss Herrera here with her staff at her business. So the work summary for Amazing Edibles included rough carpentry, framing work, and new drywall to construct and extend the mezzanine office space. They also installed a new walk-in cooler system, electrical upgrades for both the new office and the walk-in cooler, painting and finish work, as well as architectural and engineering services space. What additional documents should I have on hand to submit along with my SBIF application? Just for purposes of submitting your application, we only require the first 3 pages. There will be additional information that will be requested at a later date. While it's not required when submitting the initial application form, please note that these items are required to complete the SBIF application process. The required documents vary depending on an applicant type. You will get a specific letter detailed according to your applicant type, requesting various items. Some of these items you may already have handy. Some of them we have templates for you to complete. But if you know this information, that you have this information on hand, now would be the time to start gathering these things. What are the financial requirements to participate in the SBIF program? The SBIF program is a reimbursable grant, so project participants should be prepared with financing to support the permanent building improvements. Proof of financing is not required until stage 3, but applicants are encouraged to contact their business lender or reach out to one of the lenders listed on the Summer Corps website in a timely manner. Grantees may choose to receive their grant funds through an escrow account. DPD in its sole discretion may authorize up to 3 draws of funding from the escrow account to reimburse an applicant as work is completed on a project. Any fees associated with the use of an escrow account will be taken out of the grant award. Are startups or new businesses eligible? Yes, most startups can apply. Startup applicants will need to supply a detailed business plan and projections of the business's income and expenses for its first 36 months of operation as part of their application materials. The City of Chicago reserves the right to impose additional conditions for funding in connection with startup business applications. If you've only been in business for 1 to 2 years, Summer Corps requires tax returns and a projection of gross sales to equal 3 years of data. Please note that bars, taverns, hotels, and motel applicants must have held their applicable license and been in business for at least 1 calendar year. Am I eligible if I live outside of Chicago? The important consideration is where you have your business or your property. To participate in SBIF, your property must be in the City of Chicago, as the funding source comes from the City of Chicago property taxes. If you live in another area, please call your city's planning, economic development, or community development department to see what other programs may be available to assist small businesses in your area. What if my business has both business and residential spaces? This program is primarily for business use, but there are mixed use exceptions. For these buildings, many envelope projects such as roofing, facade improvements, and tuck pointing can be eligible. Will there be enough SBIF funds for all applicants? Each tax increment financing district that has the SBIF program authorized and it has limited funds reserved for the program. If the demand for SBIF funds is greater than the available funding supply, then a lottery will be conducted to determine the order in which each grant application may be accommodated. If any surplus funds become available, they will be allocated to waitlisted applicants. Applicants for properties located in an Invest Southwest corridor shall be given priority for funding and the lottery. Applicants for a property located in a SBIF target corridor shall be second in priority for the funding and the lottery. The remaining applicants shall be provided funding if available and placed on the wait list if applicable after the applicants in the Invest Southwest corridor and the target corridors have already been addressed. Is there SBIF funding available in my district? Every SBIF area has its own budget that the city refills if it has funds available and if there's a demonstrated need for more grant money. You can email email the Summer Corps team at sbif@summercorps.com to see if there's money in your area. We also maintain an interested parties list for funds, which you can also send an email to the general SBIF inbox to join. When more funding becomes available or the city allocates more funds, we'll let you know. The interested parties list also helps the City of Chicago gauge demand for additional funding. What if I'm in a TIF and it is not a SBIF? Tax increment financing is the mechanism that funds the Small Business Improvement Fund program. If you are in a TIF district and it does not have a SBIF, please contact your alderman. Here we have Summer Corps and DPD's contact information. Again, thank you for your time today. You can visit both of our websites here. The City of Chicago's website does have the option to translate the SBIF page into any language that is available on the website. Again, a copy of the presentation and a link to the video will be emailed to all attendees.
Thanks so much, Sylvia. I really appreciate it. Just a reminder for everybody listening today, if they have a question, please put it in the Q&A chat box and we're happy to run through those. So Sylvia, I always like to start with the first question of what are the most typical challenges or stumbling blocks that SBIF grantees can run into during the project phase?
So I would say financing and also finding a good contractor. Those are the biggest challenges. So like we said, it's never too early to start looking for financing if you don't have that readily available. So I suggest starting with your own lender since you've already established a relationship with them. But we do have a list of lenders that are on our website that are familiar with the process. And like I said, they're more inclined to help knowing that they're getting the grant funds basically directed their way, and then the applicant will be responsible for the remaining balance on their loan. And also finding good contractors. We request at least 2 competitive bids, but it's always best to get more. That way, you kind of get a feel for these contractors, their responsiveness and things like that. So those, I would say, are the 2 most challenging things.
That sounds great. Can you clarify, can nonprofits apply for the SBIF program?
Yes, nonprofits are eligible. We review them the same way we do commercial owners or tenants at this moment.
So I think we had a sort of a specific question kind of digging further than the nonprofits. What if you have a building that is both a place of worship and a business?
We cannot cover any renovations done to the place of worship. If there is a separate space within the building that is used for commercial business or office related, as long as it's not related to the religious business, we may be able to consider it, but it's all on a case-by-case basis. So we may need to conduct a site visit to determine eligibility on that.
Great. Can you talk a little bit more about the structure of the reimbursable grant? So the question specifically was they're required to pay the project cost up front. Can you talk a little bit about that and perhaps how the phase option works for some applicants?
Sure. So basically you have to look at it as if you're looking to do a project, you should have the financing available 100%. We will then reimburse based on what you qualify for, which can be either 30, 60, or 90%. If it's industrial, it would qualify for 50% if you're eligible. So as you're looking to get approved, we basically approved your entire wish list. You can complete the project in one whole project to be reimbursed for that entire amount, or we can also process it in various phases. Up to 3 different phases is what we can cover. So let's say, for example, someone's looking to do a roof, a facade, and an interior renovation. So if they get approved for all of that work, let's say their priority is to get the roof done. Let's say they have a leak and that's, the most urgent thing. So they can get the roofing project complete, submit for reimbursement, use that reimbursement then to move forward to the facade project. Once that facade project is done, we can accommodate the interior renovations. So that's how we can break it out into various phases. Now the phases are eligible for certain applicant types. So if you have an existing business and you're already licensed, you're already operating there, we can break your project out in phases. For startup businesses, we can do up to 50% of the grant amount. Approximately halfway through the project, we'll hold on to the remaining funds until the project is complete and the City of Chicago business license is issued at the space. For landlord projects, there is a lease up requirement. So the space will have to be leased to a SBIF eligible applicant before we can disperse the funds. So we cannot allow phases for landlord projects.
Well, this is a great sort of segue. Somebody was asking, do you need the property before application? I think that directly is the question of what does site control mean and how does that play into your ability to apply for SBIF?
Okay, so we do require site control. The site control will need to be in place by the deadline date of stage 1. So you can submit an application if you don't have site control, but in order for us to proceed with the application, you would have to have either a lease agreement for a minimum of a 3-year term, or if you're looking to purchase the property, then you would have to show us proof of ownership in the form of a deed or title insurance.
That's helpful. I think, so I guess this is a question that if they have the SBIF actually, can it assist a developer, a startup developer, or is the SBIF program really targeted for individual businesses or property owners?
It can be used by developers, but just know that there is a requirement that you do not sell the business if it's a business, or you cannot sell the property within a 3-year time frame following disbursement of the funds.
I guess one last question is, can you talk a little bit more about the allowed types of projects? And you said you couldn't do cosmetic, but you could do more permanent things. What if as part of my project I really need to paint the walls or redo the floors? Can you kind of explain how that would work?
Sure. So we can do permanent improvements. We can cover just about anything from a gut build out. If you're simply just looking for a nice fresh coat of paint, a nice new floor, that would be considered a cosmetic upgrade that we may not be able to cover just those items, since it's just basically a cosmetic and not anything that's structural. So let's say, for example, you're looking to change the layout, do new drywall, we can cover the painting, we can cover the flooring, we can cover lighting fixtures, things like that. But if it's strictly just cosmetic, if it's fully functional and you just want it to look prettier, look more modernized, then those are the types of elements that we cannot cover.
That's great. Thanks. Well, I think that's it for the questions that we have right now. So I appreciate everybody's participation today. And thank you, especially Sylvia, for leading this conversation. For everybody here, if you have additional questions, feel free to contact Summer Corps and you will be receiving an email with a copy of this presentation. Good luck, everybody, with your applications. We look forward to seeing them. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.